what is interesting sometimes regarding that on one hand we as human beings can have this decision-making mentality. I have my mind, I have my ideas, I have my personal want and goals, and I make my own decisions, and I don't want to listen to you because I'm just going, I'm having this energy, I'm going to be a success or whatever. That kind. And on the other hand, all the time asking the world, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about me? What do you think about my product? What do you think about my family? What do you think about my clothes? And both sides, both extremes is quite, how can I put it? It takes up your energy. It's really, really hard standing in the world all by yourself, all on your own, taking your own decisions, having to know all the answers yourself and just go for it. And on the other hand, being focused on the world all the time, asking the world, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think, is really difficult. Both situations on their own little charming way. So what is quite interesting is building a mindset that holds both qualities at the same time. The kind of mindset that understands that the world, even though people is not opening their mouth and directly giving you feedback, the world is giving feedback all the time, every day, every second. Everything is feedback. But on the other hand, it's not necessarily every feedback you're interested in. Not necessarily every feedback you are supposed to react upon. So how can you make your own decisions? How can you say, well, this is what I do, this is how I choose to do. I can see it for myself, working with my customers, that if I tell my customers, this is my product, and it's the only decision that is made is, do they want it, yes or no? If I do not put myself in the game and also say, well, this customer, now I talk to you, I listen to you, what is my perception of this? Do I want this job? Or is it only about if you want me to work for you? And I think when you work with sales or as a manager, a leader, or whatever, having both sides is quite important when it comes to success. That you have the guts to follow the feedback and sometimes say, well, dear potential customer, dear potential partner in life or whatever, no thank you. Not because they are wrong or anything, just because the feedback you're getting tells you this is not meant to be. I choose to make it not meant to be. I think that power, listening to the feedback, asking the customer, asking the potential partner, are you interested? But on the same hand, asking yourself, am I interested? Do I want this? Do I believe that what I provide is what the receiver really wants? I think that's pretty important. Actually, I saw an interesting interview just the other day with Jay-Z, the rapper. And he was in this mixed interview with Warren Buffett. And the interviewer, he said to Jay-Z, well, your product is music. And how is that different from every other product? And he said something like, I can't remember it word from word, but he said something like that. Well, there's a lot of products out there, not only music. And for the audience to understand it, it needs to be unique. It needs to be something that is honest, that is real, that is different from what else you can find out there. And and I totally agree in that one. I really believe that you need to divide your audience. Someone will like you, someone will not like you, but that edge is really important. You have to be unique on your own way, in your own way. What we did before, when we had to sell something, ask the customer, is it between 20 and 25 or 25 to 30? You're talking all the time about the customer and what do they want. And what JC replied, he said, well, when I'm making music, it's about being an artist. And because I believe my product, when they come to the marketing afterwards, then I put the business part into it. And I think every business could benefit from this feedback from the world. Say, well, it's not about what they want, it's about what they need. And when you have something they need, then you can put in the marketing. I think that's quite important. I remember once reading a book, I can't remember which one, but this book quoted Ford, and he said, well, if I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have replied, faster horses. But he had this vision of building cars in big numbers. I think he said something, cars so I can make a line around the whole globe, the whole world, or something like that. And that's the vision. That is, of course, you get inspired, you're living your life, you're talking to people. And suddenly he had this idea about transportation, about moving from A to B in a different way, different conditions or whatever. I don't know how he did it. But nothing comes out of nothing. Of course you see people, you talk to people, you look on a market or whatever, you're watching. And because you're watching, because you're interested, you're curious, something new occurs. And if you too rapidly think, oh, this is a product, I need to sell this, how can we sell that, how can we make money out of this, you will ruin the inspiration. You will ruin the smart thing about this new product. You need to have the confidence to let the idea develop before you're starting thinking product. How do you teach yourself doing this? It's back to everything we are taught in life. You do it again and again and again and again. If you avoid the moments where you do not know what is the direction, where I'm going, I'm just still investigating, I'm trying and playing with ideas, I'm looking at opportunities. If we were supposed to do this in a different way, what is possible? If you do not repeat being in that moment again and again and again, you will never know how it works. You will never teach yourself to be there. And that is creativity. That is building the experience of being in that moment where you do not yet think about selling something, just building it, letting this idea develop until it's that concrete that you're almost hitting your arm on it or whatever. You have to be really clear to yourself. Then go market, then go sell, then go something. Sometimes you can develop a product in an hour. For instance, a hit song. I heard that Elton John was writing your song in 20 minutes or so. I don't know if it's true. That's the way it goes sometimes. Other times you develop a product within 10 years because you're in a market, you're watching what is happening, you're listening to what frustrates people, and suddenly something occurs. But it needs a long range of development before it becomes really clear what is the product. And that is the challenge in the creative part of driving a business. You need people who can do this, and you need people who know how to sell, and you need them to cooperate with one another in a really efficient way. Often when you're doing pioneering work, you have to close down when the world is feedbacking all the problems. Oh, it's not going to work, it's never done before, it's too expensive, it's too much. We have a lot of stories about that, Microsoft, Apple or whatever, and people was laughing of it. It's stupid, it's wrong, why are you thinking? The car, the television, even the radio. And we have stuff now, it's dangerous, it's wrong, but all it does is breaking our habits. All it does is that things is changing and someone realizes behind our habits there's a need. And then they provide this simple product that just strikes the need. But the world has to get used to it. I remember the story about Disney, when the first time he got the idea that he wanted to make a cartoon in a full movie length. And he presented that idea to his staff, and they said, well, this is stupid, this is wrong. And he went back home frustrated. He said, well, this is a really great idea, and he's just shooting it down, making it wrong even before we talked about it. And he did something that consultants today call the Disney creativity model. What he did, he picked out persons he believed in, and he put them into a conference room and said, well, I have this idea, making this cartoon in a full movie length. The only thing we're supposed to talk about in here is possibilities. Everything all the obstacles and all that, we wait with that, but now it's opportunities. If you do not follow this rule, you're not part of this process. And he said, I have this vision, what is possible? And they worked around it. Then he changed the conference room and said, okay, now we have a lot of possibilities. What does it take? Do we have to invent something new or whatever? What does it take to make all those opportunities real? And then, well, we need a new technique, we need better quality, we need a lot of stuff to change. And then he put them in the last conference room and he said, okay, what is the obstacles? And they started, it's too expensive, it's never done before, and then took it through those 3 rooms again and again and again until they sat in the room of obstacles. And well, the only thing that prevents us from doing it now is our own mindset, so let's go. And now, the Disney DVD is a household brand. Every family with kids has at least one Disney DVD. So, in the beginning, the feedback will be filled with resistance, with oh, this is wrong, it doesn't gonna work, it's too expensive, never done before, whatever. And as a pioneer, you have to close that down. You have to ignore it because you believe in something. And that's the hard part of being a pioneer. The world is not applauding just from the beginning. They do not cheer for you in the beginning. But when you have proven your point, then things is changing. Every time the world experiences crisis, wars, financial crisis or whatever, often that's the period in time where the most amazing inventions is made. Because change is rarely something we do because we want to, but because we have to. A lot of great companies started that someone was broke and was thinking, I have to do something because if I don't do it, I cannot provide for my family or myself when I'm getting old or whatever. So the pressure is put on, and that makes us develop. When we are too successful, that is not where we do the pioneering work.